What's up, guys? So last week we finished the actual individual project page. So today we're going to do two things. We're going to work on the paginator and we are going to work on the information page. So let's go ahead and jump on into the project. Alright guys, so I've got the terminal pulled up and I've got the server running. So we're going to pick up right where we left off last week. This is the project that we have right now, and because it was the only project in here, basically there was no paginator here because there was no previous and there was no next page. So what I did was the client gave me some of the assets and text, so I've gone ahead and I've added all of these projects in here. And so yes, I have visited all of these links, and that is why they are colored like this. But I've added all this stuff in here, so now when I click on a project, and just to show you, I'll click on the same one, now the paginator shows up. This one has a previous page and a next page, so we have both the back and the forward paginator, but that is extremely massive and not at all what it needs to look like. So let's go ahead and fix this and get this designed real quick. So let's go ahead and pull up our code, and there's some stuff we gotta do here. Let's close all of this junk out. All right, let's open up the modules, and I'm gonna create another file, and this is gonna be Paginator, just like that, .sas. All right, let's import it into our directory SAS file. So it's going to be Paginator, just like that. And in here, we're going to start styling a few things. Before we do that, though, let's go ahead and pull up our Paginator include so we can see the HTML. It's inside of a Paginator. And then we have Paginator back and Paginator next. And then inside of there is just an SVG. So fairly simple. Let's go ahead, and before we code that, I'll show you real quick what this is supposed to look like for the pagination. It's supposed to sit right about here. So I believe that's like 16 pixels off the bottom of that. So let's come back over to the code and grab our paginator. All right. So we're going to give this a width of 100%, a height of 24 pixels. We're going to say display flex. Flex direction will be row. Whoops. Row. And then justify content space between and align items center. And then in there, let's go ahead and grab both our anchor tag with the class of paginator back and the anchor tag with the class of paginator next, and we're going to assign a few styles to this as well. All right, so let's go ahead and pop back over to the page and refresh it and see what this looks like. So we're not able to see any of this here. I wonder why. Let's see where it is. It would be within here, and it is right here. So let's pop this open. We have it's sitting right there, and this is sitting right here. All right, so let's go ahead and give this a few styles. Let's go ahead and grab our anchor tag with the class of paginator back and the anchor tag with the class of paginator next. And then inside there, let's go ahead and grab our SVG. And let's give the SVG a height of 24 pixels and a width of 24 pixels. That's going to make it nice and square. And then let's see what else we want to do. Let's go ahead and, well, let's just make sure this is loading up now. Okay, there we go. So that is loading right there. Looks good. Comes down. And all right, so let's just take a quick look at the code again here and see where it's all sitting and how it's sitting down here. All right, that looks pretty good. I think we're gonna want to push this up just a little bit. Not much, but just a little. But before we do that, let's go ahead and let's add a hover. Okay, so let's pull up the code. And I'm going to do this on the actual anchor tags here. So we're just going to say and hover. And this is just going to be opacity 0.75. And this should change now. I refreshed it. Yep, when you hover over it, it changes. So one thing I want to do is when this breaks here, all right, it bumps up a little bit. So I want to, well, let's make sure we're following the design real quick. Actually, let's take a look at the mobile one and see how far down it sits. And yes, just so you know, we did cut the text out of this. We discussed that. So here it's just going to be sitting what looks like, again, 16 pixels. So the difference there is 76. And then this was at, if I can click on it, 98. So 98 minus 76 would be 22 pixels. So it looks like there's a 22 pixel difference. Let's go ahead and see if we can find out where exactly that is sitting at. Okay. So the paginator is here within the page content wrapper, and that's pushing that down. So we just need to figure out where that break is. I have a gut feeling it's around 700, and I'm going to be wrong. All right, I am wrong. Okay, let's see. It looks like that break is right here around 550. Okay, so page content wrapper. That is going to be within our, let's go to layout. It's going to be in our project. We have page content wrapper. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and grab, we'll set a media query here, screen and max width of 550 pixels. We're going to say project content wrapper. And let's grab this code here. This is what we need to change. And let's just check again what that's supposed to go down to. If I can pull up the XD right here, zoom in, it's got to go down to 76. All right, so we're just going to change this top here to 76 and then go back, refresh, and let's shrink this up. All right, there we go. That's working. That looks pretty darn good right there. So I'll show you right now. We're going to go ahead and we're just going to test these and click. All right, that loads. Perfect. It's going to the next set for the next page. So let's come back to the projects file here, page, whatever. And let's click on the first one. So here, as you see, there is no previous URL. So we don't have the previous, but there is an issue. This is floating all the way to the left, and we don't want that. Now, if we're over here on Wayport, that's okay because it's the last one. There is no next, so it's not here, but it's sitting here. So there's a really, really simple fix for this. So let's go ahead and pull up our paginator.html, and in between here, right here, let's go ahead and just write a span. And then we'll, let's go back and go back to the first one. And now you see it's sitting over here. And if we click all the way to the end, now it's sitting over here. And the reason that span fixes that is because we're using a display flex with justify space between. So technically there is this space here that takes up no space. This object that's sitting here that's forcing this to calculate space in between from here to the middle and then from the middle to here. So when we get to the end or the very beginning and one of these items is not here, that invisible object that takes up virtually no space is shoved to the other end, and it forces this to stay where it's supposed to stay. So that's what we got to do there. All right, next let's go ahead and let's start working on this information.html file. All right, so back over in the code, we're going to go ahead and go to the root and create a new file. Call this information.html. All right, so this is not going to be a very long page as far as the HTML goes. And the Sass probably isn't going to be that long either, but this is going to use the default layout. And there's a few things we're going to set up in here. And I'll show you the design again for reference, just in case. Where is it at? There it is. Okay. So we're just going to have, you know, 2 columns with content over here, an image over here, and then when it breaks, it's just going to flop and be 1 column essentially. So let's go ahead and write up all the HTML here. So we're going to have a div with the class of, this is going to be a long one. Let's do information content container. All right. Not supposed to be a period. There we go. All right. So inside of here, we're going to have another div with the class of, let's just say main content. And then underneath that, let's have a div with the class of, let's do image content. All right, very simple. So now we're going to go ahead and write the code for in here and then in here. So let's start with the image because it's just slightly shorter. It's going to be an image with the source set to site.base URL /assets /image /bio well, let's go over and copy this. I've gone ahead and I've actually added all these images in here. So we're just going to copy this and then we can just paste it here and we know we're not going to screw any of that up. So we're going to set the height equal to 100% and we're going to set the width equal to 100%. And don't worry, this is not going to distort the image because we're going to write object fit in the CSS for this. All right, so up in here now, let's quickly go ahead and we're going to have an H1. And this is just going to say about. And this is going to say site.description. And down here, we're going to have an anchor tag with an href equal to mail to site dot email, and it can go ahead and say contact, just like that. All right, so now in the config.yaml, this is the description we have, and that's fine for now. I'll wait till I get that provided by the client, and then we'll just go ahead and change it there, and it'll automatically update here. So let's quickly go ahead and go back to the web browser and refresh. And here's the page. So that looks like crap. So let's go ahead and start styling this. So the first thing we need to do is come in here and create a new file, information.sass. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and close these out. Let's go ahead and import this information into the directory there. And this is going to be, let's pull back up our actual information page here so we can see all the HTML. I'm going to copy this so I don't screw that up. And let's grab that class. Padding. That's going to be 98 pixels, 100 pixels, 50 pixels, and 100 pixels. All right. Box sizing, border box. Width of this needs to be 100%. Let's set the min height to be 100 VH, which is just viewport heights. For those of you who don't know, display, we're going to say grid template columns. Where is that at? There we go. Grid template columns is going to be 1FR and 1FR. Grid template rows is just going to be 1FR. Grid gap, let's set that to 2 rem. Let's go ahead and align item center and set our max width that we were doing before to 1500 pixels, and then margin auto so that way it's center when it's above that, and refresh, and there we go. So it's already looking much better. That's much more in line, but that is not acceptable. So let's go ahead and continue styling all of this. So I'm going to come in here and let's go underneath the grid gap, and I'm going to say grid template. I'm going to set main and image. Well, yeah, image. And let's grab the main content div. Set the grid area to main, and let's give this a let's give this a max width of 600 pixels. Let's also go ahead and grab the image content, set that grid area to image, and we're gonna start styling that a little bit. So I'm gonna set the height to 50 viewport heights, or I'm sorry, width. Max height 500 pixels. Let's do a max width of 600 pixels to match. And let's do margin auto to make sure it stays centered. All right. So let's go in here and grab the image and set object fit to cover, and this distortion is now gone. All right. So let's leave that be for a minute and let's style the text and whatnot in here. So we have an H1. Let's give this the font size. I think we already know what that's going to be. Font large. Font weight was bold. Color black. And margin 0.5 rem 0. All right, let's grab that small. Or did we didn't put a small. No, we didn't put a small. Okay. Let's go ahead and grab the paragraph tag. And this is going to be, let's do margin of 0.5 on top and bottom and 0 on left and right. Font size, we'll set that to font medium. And let's set the font weight to normal. Font weight, normal. Line height. Let's set that to 1.5 rem. And let's set the color to black as well. All right. Now the only other thing left in here is the anchor tag. So I'll grab the anchor, display block. Margin, I'll give it 1.5 rem on the top and bottom, 0 on the left and right. Let's go ahead and set the font size to our font medium as well so that it matches the same size as our paragraph text. Let's go ahead and write font weight bold because I want that to have a little weight to it. We'll set the color to our blue variable. Text decoration, I don't want that underline that we had there, so we'll remove that. And then let's just make the hover very, very simple. So hover, opacity 0.75, refresh. All right, that's looking pretty good. That's about exactly what I want. All right, so we still have this issue of the image turning into a 10 pixel tall box and the text being smushed as well. So let's go ahead and fix that with a couple media queries. The first one that we have is at 1000 pixels, same as we've had before. So at media screen and max width 1000 pixels. We're gonna go ahead and grab this class and let's grab the same padding, paste it, and then we're gonna change these 100 pixels to 1 rem and 1 rem. Okay, let's go back, refresh, shrink it up. Looks much better. Okay, now let's go ahead and set the other one so that this can all break. So let's grab the same media query, paste it. I'm gonna change this to like 850. We need this class, and we're gonna change the grid template. We are going to let's go put the image first, and then let's set the main second. Let's see what that does. All right, so that snaps that there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and set a max width on both of these and an auto on them as well. A margin auto, my bad. Okay. Image content, and let's grab the main content. We're going to say max width of 500 pixels and margin auto. I should keep that nice and centered but aligned on the edges. Once it snaps right there, there we go. All right, nice and centered and aligned on the edge. So that should be pretty good right there. This will work much better once this is all filled out, and I'm not sure why that's jumping at all. I have not seen that happen before. All right, let's take a quick look at the code and see if it's anything simple that we can just adjust real quick. Maybe we can set the min height to auto. Let's see what that does. I'm not too worried about this. Oh, well, that worked right there, actually. Whoops. Let's go back. Shrink this up. That worked perfectly. It lets it sit right there at the top, and it gets pushed exactly how it should. So I think that's about everything on this for right now. That's the home page. Did we do this? No, we did not do that. Okay, so there is yet one more page we can do. until we need to go ahead and connect this to forestry. So we got the projects done, information's done, education, and well, education goes to an external page, and then contact just pulls up the emailer. So let's see if we can go ahead and get the colophon coded up real quick. I'm going to keep it a little simple. I'm not going to worry about the footer. I don't want to duplicate that footer on this page right now. We might do that in the future just because there's so little content on here, but I think we're just going to, well, make it like this and keep it very simple. So let's just go ahead and jump in and quickly code that up. All right, so let's go ahead and close these two out. We don't need them. We're going to create a new file in here at the root called colophon.html. Well, let's let this be the layout of default. All right, and then let's go to Sass and layouts, create a new file called colophon.sass. Import that into our directory. And this is going to be very, very quick page. Let's go ahead and give a div with the class of colophon wrapper. All right. And in here, we're simply going to have a UL with a bunch of LIs. And I am just going to cut ahead to after I've typed in all of the LIs. Okay, there we go. So that is all of the LIs that we have. I'll go ahead and save that. And that's all of the HTML we're going to do on this. So let me just copy that over. And we'll go to Chrome, refresh. Okay, great. This is illegible, so let's fix that with some Sass. So in the Sass, we are going to go ahead and grab this class. We're going to set the width to 100%, the height to 100%. Let's do min height of 100 viewport heights. Padding can be 178 pixels, 100 pixels, 100 pixels, 100 pixels. Box sizing, border box. Max width of 1500 pixels, same as the other pages, and then a margin of auto. All right. We need to grab the UL, set the padding to 0, the margin to 0, the list style to none. Grab the LI, set the font size to font small, and the line height to 1.5 rem. And then we know we have to have that media query at 1000 pixels. So screen and max width of 1000 pixels. Let's go ahead, grab the class, grab the padding, and we're just going to change each one of these to 1 rem. Okay. And let's go back to the page, refresh, and that is exactly what we want. All right, so I think that's going to do it for this video, and then next week we can go ahead and work on connecting forestry and getting the rest of this site finished up. Alright guys, so that's it for this video. We worked on the paginator and then we finished up the information page. So next week is going to be a big week. We're going to continue where we left off here, but we're going to work on connecting forestry. So that's probably going to be a long video. We're going to be learning together on that one. So anyways, if you guys liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If it helped you, subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, make sure to leave them down below. But if you like the content that I'm creating on this channel, head on over to my Patreon account account at patreon.com/Zachary R. Newton, where you can help support this channel and help me create better videos every week. Until then, I'll see you guys on the next one.